Get Sweaty with Leddy, a wellness program about pain management. Hey everybody, today marks the return of Get Sweaty with Leddy. We were on a bit of a hiatus over summertime because we don't really get our cold plunge. And that is all changing, as you can see with these Minnesota beautiful foliage behind me here. We are coming into prime time sauna season. This fall season is truly giving me sauna vibes, and I got a gut feeling about today's episode. Not only because I think it's gonna be good, but because it features functional nutritionist Christina Jax, who happens to work for the San Jose Sharks and previously worked for the Minnesota Wild. So I'm really excited to get inside, sit on that bench, and talk about all things nutrition. Well, welcome to today's episode of Get Sweaty with Leddy. The web of pain continues because I was connected from a previous guest, Nikki Vanacek, to my current guest, Christina Jax, so I'm super grateful for that. And we also have a very unique story because we'll get into what you specialize in, which is functional nutrition, but you happen to be the functional nutritionist for my nephew, Nick Leddy's San Jose Sharks, which is, what a small world.
It is. I think hockey is the smallest world, and I always say it's the best family.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
As we get into your story, let me first ask you, what brings you into pain?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Sometimes people don't always put nutrition and pain in the same thing, but your gut is like the key to your overall health. And then I always say digestion should never hurt. And the problem is, especially in the food system that we have now in the United States, people are dealing with more and more gut issues. And this really is a quality of life issue. And ultimately, if your gut is out of alignment, if your gut is not healthy, not only are you just having gut pain, you're having systemic inflammation and systemic pain, joint, skin, brain fog, and even mental health issues. So the breadth and depth of pain in nutrition is pretty big. So while people don't always connect the two, it's actually very connected.
Yeah, in my head, I'm imagining, your stomach is kind of, like the car engine, and then maybe you plug up one of the plugs and everything is just, getting inflamed and ready to blow in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the problem with it is that inflammation. So if your gut health is out of alignment, if you are having heartburn, if you're having IBS symptoms, so all of those things, that means your body is in super bad inflammation, which then leads to other chronic disease, whether that be heart disease, diabetes, and even stroke. So taking care of your gut is key to actually your overall health, but then also pain management.
Where do you think, so if someone is having gut issues, but then they're having, other issues alongside of that, how often is it diagnosed as the gut? Or do people go to the right person right away? Or could it be essentially just masked with how bad the pain is somewhere else that doctor that they see, tell, oh, this is what's wrong, and then they never even get to the gut? Like how often do you see that?
Almost constantly. Obviously, it's my specialty with nutrition, but when people come to me, they've usually had a long history of dealing with some sort of other chronic conditions, and even surgeries. My favorite example of this one, and you should obviously align it with nutrition, but is when people have really bad heartburn or GERD, so gastroesophageal reflux disease, if we want to be nerdy here. Mm-hmm. So, but heartburn is what people call it. And oftentimes people are dealing with that, and then they know it's maybe something they ate, but then they always say, oh, it's just probably stress and you need to do some stress management. And the doctor will prescribe a drug that's called omeprazole, but it's a proton pump inhibitor, so a PPI, and it's a bad Band-Aid. That's what I call it. So the doctor won't say you've got to change your diet. Maybe they'll say, don't have spicy foods, which can be a trigger, but literally it's many other things that are probably a trigger that are gut dysbiosis, so your bacteria in your gut's out of alignment, and then we get into why that is. But the deal is that they take that drug, which is only supposed to be used for 2 weeks, because it actually continues to destroy your gut. So it's a bad Band-Aid. While it gives you an immediate relief, this is one of my biggest pet peeves in nutrition, is that kind of lazy medicine, that lazy doctoring where we're not trying to find the root cause. What is the thing that is making your body inflamed? Instead of doing that, we just throw a drug at you that's not meant to be used long term, which then does this slippery slope of continuing to destroy someone's gut. So yeah, you think, okay, GERD, your question is like, how is this misaligned? But I'd also say mental health too. So mental health is multifactorial, but having good gut health is key to mental health. They are tied in. Brain gut access. There's a lot of podcasts that get really deep into that, but that's one that it kind of breaks my heart sometimes that nutrition isn't addressed when we're talking about mental health. It may not be the only thing that can help with it, but it is something significant that can help with it.
Yeah, no, I can totally relate. When I was writing my book, I was just trying to focus on the things that are really important to me in my wellness journey, and like the diet is just right up there. Diet, I need to have sleep because you need to recover and you need to move your body.
Yes.
You need to do all of these things. So I could really understand how a shitty gut
Yes.
is going to turn into a myriad of problems involving mental health and just your whole entire body.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you nailed it there too. So, and I think that so many things that should ultimately be referred to a dietitian when people are dealing with chronic pain and chronic other issues aren't. And we should be part of the whole process. And I love that you brought up sleep too. So when we talk about pain management and we talk about how to get a person in alignment, sleep is key, and then nutrition is one of those keys to proper sleep.
Yep.
And in our society where we're pumping caffeine all the time, and things that just are wrecking our sleep cycle, I really love I work with a lot of athletes, and I love working on nutrition for sleep, because that is so key to recovery and to keep them not injured, which is one of the goals of being a sports dietitian.
Totally. So I would imagine, there's probably a lot of people that see a functional nutritionist and then they see what they need to do, and maybe they're just stuck in their own ways but I don't want to give that up. You see a lot of that where people are just, I'm going to just deal with it because I really like to do this, and maybe it's eat bad food, maybe it's drink bad things.
Right. I feel like people have a runway of that, right? So sometimes the pain point has to get high enough, right? Yeah. Some people are really gritty. They can sink into pain for a really long time. So I do see that. I always meet my clients where they're at, and I'm also really honest with them, because I'll say, I see where you're at right now. Like if you don't want to give up your Diet Coke or whatever. That Diet Coke, I tell you, that's a toughie for people. But also with food sensitivities. So I do a lot of gut testing. We do a lot of food sensitivity testing at our company, A4 Health. And one of the things that comes up is foods that are inflaming their body, right? So when we do the testing, the diagnostic, I'll tell that. I've seen people tear up because beer is on the list, and it's not just beer, but it'll be wheat, barley, hops, something,
yeast,
and then but also coffee, grapes, which turn into wine, right? So when these things pop up, and even sugar, I watch people go, I don't know if I can do it. And so we take, our approach is using behavioral sciences. We understand that you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't meet people where they're at and then have a strong understanding of behavioral science so that you can help people with habit change, they're never really going to change. And sometimes I see with my clients where we get partway through. And they're like, I need to pause on these changes because stuff is going in my life. I'm not ready for the full commitment of the things I need to do. And then they circle back to us later when they are mentally and lifestyle prepared to do it. And that's okay. But what it is a pain point, right? So I got my own diagnosis of not being able to have gluten. Gosh, I think I'm on 12 years now of that. And it was like a mind bend for a while, trying to understand, can I really do this? But the pain was so bad. The gut pain, the systemic pain. I had basically chronic fatigue from my body being so inflamed. My joints hurt. I had skin rashes. I mean, I'm like, girl, you can give up gluten to not feel like complete shit. And when I did that, and when I've even had some, relapses where I have some gluten again, it reminds me that the pain is not worth it. And fixing my nutrition and fixing my daily habits makes me have my optimized life. And if I can get my patients to see that feeling, people have forgotten how to feel good. They don't know what feeling good feels like. They have lost perception of that. And once I get them there and they feel it again, then the power is there. Then they take it from there.
Yeah, no, then you realize what that feels like. And it's like, I want that.
Yes.
It's greater than any treat or any alcoholic beverage out there.
Yep.
Because of how you're feeling.
Yep, 100%.
I think it was like 2000, maybe 2001, probably closer to 2000, but my wife and I both took a food sensitivity test. We did the LeddWell test. And what do you think of those types of... They're obviously not going to be as in-depth as seeing a functional nutritionist.
Sure. Yeah, no, I love that question. So diagnostics in general, they vary in their success rates and their accuracy. I will tell you, so I use a food sensitivity test called mediator release testing, so MRT, and it's not perfect. I'm going to say it right up front. It is the best one out there. So like those LeddWells, they have a lot of false positives.
Yep.
The test that I use, it only tests 176 different food items or chemical compounds. So like even pain relievers are part of what's tested. And the science on it is great. It's able to be replicated in other ways. But what it's basically testing is how your body responds in an inflammatory cycle. And so those mediators like cytokines that get all excited if something's in your body and it's pissing you off, that's what this test will show. So while it's not perfect, because we're also only testing 176 things, it's better than throwing darts on a dartboard. And I do symptom testing with, we do food diaries and symptoms after people eat. It's only so accurate. It does help. They do say most people know certain things that they eat that don't work for them. And it's hard, like dairy, especially in the upper Midwest. People are like, I don't want to give up dairy. Yeah. No,
Cheese is so good.
Cheese is life. It was my daughter's first word, by the way. How to know you're a Midwesterner when your child's first word is cheese. Yeah, but so that test I love. I actually just had a client right before we hopped here into the sauna test because he just had to test it. And I said, yeah, let's make our results appointment next week. He has a lot of gut issues. He's pretty sure he knows a few of them. But some things come up really surprising. So while it's not perfect, here's an example. From me, I obviously buttoned up my diet, no more gluten, because that was another diagnostic test. Like I actually have a condition. So that one was easy to know that was a culprit. But I still kept getting heartburn from time to time. I'm like, what the heck? I'm not doing that. I really limited my dairy. I thought maybe it was that, even though my test didn't come up with that. So finally, I found MRT, and I was like, I'm going to try this tool. I'm going to see if this is a good one to use with my clients. So I tried it on myself. And one thing that popped was dates, ginger, and turmeric. And we all know that those are supposed to be healthy, right? Especially like turmeric's supposed to be anti-inflammatory, and so is ginger, but not for my body. And what I had been doing, I had been drinking ginger and turmeric tea because of course that's healthy, right? And then I've been having like a lot of the healthy bars out there are date-based. So I was eating, whether it was Lara bars or RX bars or things like that, and getting heartburn. When I took that test and I found that, I took all of that out of my diet, no more heartburn.
Wow.
So while it's healthy, and my clients freak out sometimes, and I do it, they'll be like, oranges are healthy. I'm like, yeah, but not for you, because your body is reacting. Your body overreacts and gets inflamed by compounds that are in that food. So I love using that tool along with like GI mapping to understand like what's going on in people's gut. Mm-hmm. Because again, all the things that we put in our food system that are gut destroyers, like additives and preservatives, and then all the medications we take, and especially if we're taking antibiotics, we end up with bad guts. We just get too much bad bacteria, not enough good bacteria, which affects our metabolism. And that's something, we're talking about pain today, but one of the other things is if your gut's out of alignment, this can affect your metabolism. So it can lead to weight gain and things like that. And people always think, I'm not even eating that many calories, but are you eating complete garbage? And so we clean out the garbage, we put in good, healthy, fresh foods, and there we go. So then the gut gets healthy again and the metabolism wakes up.
I like that. For me, when I had the drive first we just wanted to be healthier, right? We wanted information. Mm-hmm. But for me, the reason I took the food sensitivity test was my poop was not good. And I would, that like outside of pain, I feel like that's a very good indicator for what's going on in your body. Because if it's turning up, don't want to describe.
You can. I mean, I'm a dietitian. I don't know
we're-
if the audience, like, I've heard every boob story.
if we're painting and spackling the toilet,
Correct.
You know, that's not a good thing.
Nope. You should go to the bathroom every day, but you shouldn't be painting the toilet. Those are the extremes there. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to just get to the bottom of this because I wanted, like, I'm like,
No pun intended.
Yes. Thanks. I wanted to have solid poops again.
Yes. Who doesn't? Like, just get the job done and be done.
So that's always a good indicator for me of like, okay, I'm paying attention to my bowels and the consistency and what's going out there. And usually that's a pretty good tool for me to understand, okay, I've been putting good things into my body here.
Yeah.
But when it slips, I can just trace back a little bit and see like, hey, was there something in there that wasn't so good? Was that kind of a decent way to monitor yourself if you're not having pain?
Yes.
And you want to like be privy to the things that you're eating?
Yeah, so when we talk with we'll do anything that comes out of you is a great indicator of what you put in, right? So these are ways, we just call it like physical nutrition assessment. So you don't always have to use diagnostic tools. And I always say all humans are nutrition experts in some way because we interact with food every day. We interact with nutrition. So with my athletes, you know, we do hydration testing with them, but I'm like, what color is your pee? Like, let's just go look at the urine, you know, like, is it bright yellow? Now, sometimes if you take B vitamins, your pee can be bright yellow too, blah, blah, blah. That's a different thing. But let's say you haven't taken your vitamin for the day and your urine is a dark yellow color. That means you're dehydrated. And so for athletes that, anyone, being well hydrated helps you perform well, whether it's athletics or cognitive thinking function too. So just look in the toilet. Like, what color is it? We want it to be a light yellow color, not super clear, because that means you're overhydrated and then you're not having enough electrolytes and things like that. After sweating in here, we're definitely going to need some hydration and
Yes.
electrolytes. But then same with poop. So when you go to the bathroom, it should just be a nice solid poop, and it shouldn't be on any of the other side of the spectrum. I often will have people, when we talk about chronic pain, that are like chronically constipated. Either chronically constipated or chronic diarrhea, like that is a quality of life issue. So not only is it affecting the rest of your other health, like chronic constipation, you feel bloated, you feel distended, you may not even feel like working out. So some of those other things that help you don't happen. So if that's happening, we can trace back and go, okay, what does your diet look like? Are you getting enough fiber? Are you getting enough water? Are you eating too much processed foods? And sometimes that can just irritate the gut lining and you don't get good motility and you don't get that to go out. And then there's obviously supplements too. So things that build up your gut lining that can help it be healthier again. So I work with clients to go, okay, let's look at your food journal. Let's see what's going on in your body. And then there's other things too. So some of the things you probably talk to your other podcast people about that can help with gut health. So it's sometimes not always the food we're eating, but like really, what is your stress management protocol? Are you doing yoga? Are you doing some meditation? Are you getting activity? All of those things really matter in addition to what you're eating.
I love it. Well, it's about to get some more activity is that sauna stove in the form of more wood. So
All
we
right.
can get this thing cranking.
Woo!
So let's take a little break.
All right.
And we'll get back on the bench momentarily.
All right, sounds good.
We are back. Sauna is cooking.
Yep.
I'm starting to sweat already, which is a good indicator.
Yep. And you talked me into the hat.
We have a new dome piece that Christina is rocking. She's channeling her inner Viking.
Correct. I mean, so I'm a Minnesotan, true and true. Moved out of the state somewhat recently, but I was convinced to bring it back. So it feels good.
I was happy to get the sauna hat on her.
Yep, that's right.
But anyways, let's kind of get back to what we were chatting about. And, when on your road to being a functional nutritionist, was there any injury or pain situation that made you focus on this line of work?
Yeah, I think I've always loved medicine and I've always loved biology and physiology. So that kind of path was interesting to me, but like how to express it the best. So I have a lot of autoimmune disease in my family. My mom has fibromyalgia. And to me, it was like, how can we help people get out of a pain cycle. And I didn't know what I didn't know, but I felt like food was one way that we could optimize health. This is how I didn't know. Now I know it is a foundational way to deal with pain, but any sort of root cause medicine approach of any sort of thing people are dealing with. And so I got into nutrition because I love biology and human health, but also because I wanted to optimize people's lives. And I don't want people spending their lives in the hospital or being sick. And so for me, the best way that I could do this is help people get ahead of it, to not get autoimmune disease or to lessen the amount of medication they need to take. And so for me, I didn't have anything that for me personally that hit, but then later in life, ironically, I got diagnosed with a condition that is food related. And so I got to use my nutrition to put me on a path that decreased further medical issues. And I'm super happy that I had the knowledge to do that. Otherwise, I would be in some really challenging health right now. So I'm glad I got ahead of it.
Yeah, you'd just be spinning your tires otherwise, right?
Yeah, and I wouldn't be doing the things I love, like I love running, and we could talk about that if we want. But if you aren't feeling well, you can't do any of the things that you want to do. And so for me, I focus on nutrition for me and others so that we can live our best lives.
And on the focusing for you part, you are an ultra marathon runner.
I am.
How about that?
Woo, yeah. Just, I guess it's me dealing with different levels of trauma. I get out there and I get to see how far I can push myself and really the human potential. That's what I love about trail running and the community as well.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you can't be putting bad things in your body if you're going to be running 50 plus miles.
Yes, and in timing and understanding how to do recovery nutrition well too, because you're only as good tomorrow as how you feel yourself today. So my race is on Saturday. I'm back in Minnesota to do a 50-mile trail race, and you always have to think ahead of it. You have to think of your hydration after sweating in the sauna. I'll definitely be hydrating well, but I think the key to being an optimized athlete, whether you're a weekend warrior or you're a professional athlete, is understanding the power that nutrition has to fuel your performance.
Yeah, no, I love that. And performance doesn't necessarily have to be the physical performance. It could be, utilizing your brain to deliver an amazing paper or leading a group of individuals that you're, in business with.
Yeah, we're all athletes. And that's what I said. Every day you wake up in the morning and you have to perform. Whatever you could be an artist, you could be in musical theater, which is super demanding for a body. So all of us, when we wake up in the morning, we all have good intentions, right? We usually don't wake up in the morning and go, I kind of want to be an a-hole to myself and not be successful. Like, we all wake up with a good intention. And then as the day goes on, if we don't have a plan, so that's how we work with our clients too, you've got a plan for success. Because you can wake up in the morning and maybe have a good breakfast, but then if you don't plan, that willpower gets less and less, time gets busy, and then we start making bad food choices, and we end up in this cycle that can disrupt our stress response, can disrupt our sleep, and then we aren't performing as our best self.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very well put.
Thank you.
So you got into functional nutrition, you kind of cured yourself in a sense, you could say.
Yeah, I did.
And now you're helping professional athletes in addition to random individuals. Tell us how you got into being involved in professional sports.
Yeah, I always say I just kind of randomly fell into it. So obviously I'm from Minnesota, which is the state of hockey, and it's hard not to get involved with youth athletic programs. Like, Christina, could you help? Like, could you be, snack mom? Now my son calls me professional snack mom. I work with the San Jose Sharks now, so it's really cool because Nick Leddy, which is your nephew, is on the team. So I love how hockey is this small community. But I sort of fell into it by helping out some youth programs. And then I'm also a professor. So that's the other little aspect of me. So then I started working in collegiate athletics, and then that rolled into having opportunities within hockey to then work with professional athletes. And I do work with athletes of all sports. I would say hockey is my specialty. It's also pretty much the coolest game. I love it.
Damn right it
is. I know, and it's always the pun too, but it is the coolest game. So anyway, that led me there. But what is the best joy of my career is being able to help athletes, first of all, make it to the next level and or stay in their profession, because as they get older, nutrition becomes even more important, whether it is recovery or injury prevention. And so being able to help athletes stay in their sport or get into the next level of their sport is really powerful. And it's really fun for me. Sports nutrition, friends, is not as glamorous as you think it is either. And so that's not why we're in it. Yes, there are some really fun parts where you kind of get to meet some of your sports heroes along the way. But for me, they're regular, awesome people who are extraordinary in a certain sport. And I get to just help be part of that team that keeps them out there.
Yeah, I mean, having them go the extra mile in the form of just putting something good into your body.
And helping them navigate things and this is true of everyone, so not just professional athletes, but like there's so much marketing out there. There's so many different supplements. There's so many different diet philosophies. So for me, it's to help them weed through the myth versus reality, or keep them out of trouble, right? Because there's banned substances and things. And so in professional sports, in collegiate sports, one of my jobs is to help them navigate that and make sure that they're picking quality foods, quality supplements, quality approaches. Because in this day and age of social media, there is a ton of mixed messaging. And so that's the other role that I love. And I also love to help with everyday athletes and everyday individuals. Like, you don't need that product. You actually just need real, wholesome food and an easy approach to get it on your plate.
I love that. Simple as that. I mean, you would think it's simple as that.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate that we don't have access to all of those things. Is there any advice that you could give somebody that's like wanting to do better about themselves, but maybe they're leery of taking a nutrition test about themselves?
Yeah, so I think it is, and I don't always need to do it like this, but where we say like, you should find a registered dietitian, but that's a good place to start, and to just understanding if you have no like food literacy or health nutrition literacy, finding a health professional like a registered dietitian who actually focuses in on that, even to just do a couple sessions to understand like, what are a good supplement brand? I don't even know. Or like maybe food delivery is something you need because you aren't meal prepping.
Yeah.
Yep. You could look up on the internet like meal prep, but if you're not actually going to do it, then it's about finding maybe a dietitian, or even doing your own research to go like, what is a health-driven food delivery service that could help me get on that path? And so I do think that there's a lot on media right now that can put people on a wrong path. So finding somebody who will work with you one-on-one is a pretty cool approach. So there's lots of resources out there to do that. And it's hard to weed through what's credible and what's not. Even as a dietitian, I have my athletes bring me supplements all the time from all over the world that I've got to do my own research on and navigate the BS from the reality.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it can be confusing. It's the same with, I'm not amazing with like financial literacy. I always use this example. So I hire a professional to help me with my financial literacy. And so I think that's the same. We're not supposed to know everything. So get a professional to help you, at least get you on the right path. It doesn't have to be this long-term relationship. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else I love?
What?
I love getting cold.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think you're up for a quick little dip?
Okay, so I always talk about Dr. Stacy Sims. Love the research. She talks about that women don't need to do super, super cold plunging to get the same benefits. I love when research is in my benefit. It's the same with how caffeine is good for your health. It's also, I love that research too. I'm going to do it. I'm a Minnesotan. I think I lose my Minnesota card if I don't get in the water. So
Well, I appreciate you being a true sports, especially with the Vikings hat. I feel like the horns are giving you a little extra support in this.
Yes.
But it's not terrible out there. We're probably hovering right around that 55, 60 degrees right now, which is going to be perfect.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do this. I love that we're getting some raindrops over here, adding to the element, welcoming us back into the space that is the plunge.
Let's
All right, yeah, we're just gonna rip into this.
Woo!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. First one in a while, so this feels really good. I was just in the lake like a week and a half ago when it was nice and warm. It's not, it dropped quickly, the degrees.
This is quick. I was told after I said yes that no one has ever said no, and I would have felt like a complete pussy not doing it. So here we go. Oh man.
You got it.
I live in the Carolinas now. Woo! Woo!
Good job.
I did it.
Yes,
Woo!
you did.
It.
You're a natural. You're a true Minnesotan.
Woo! You staying? Oh my
Just a little bit of weeds on you.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I won't make you stand in the cold. Oh, yeah. That was wonderful, though.
I was so like no one has ever said
We got
no.
a special guest here, Melissa. Welcome. You want to jump in?
I watched you. Don't bring a towel down.
That was nice.
Yes.
That was nice.
Sorry.
Let's go get warm.
Oh,
All right. We are back. We are warming.
yes.
We weren't too cold.
No, actually, it was. I know I could be a weenie about things, but it was a lovely fall 50 degrees maybe in that water, so it wasn't ice cold.
And now you can go back to North Carolina and you can tell all your friends that you went in a lake that's getting cold plunge worthy.
Yes, no ice yet, and thank heavens that we're doing this podcast in the fall. I might have weaned out on that.
You purified yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Yes, just like Prince says.
Yes.
I love it.
And the Prince Broadway show is about to be released in Minneapolis here, which is super cool.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to come back for
I'll
that.
have to come back for that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So would you like to tell anybody, where can people find you
Yeah.
if they want to learn more about functional nutrition the Christina Jax way?
Yeah, thank you for that. I would love to meet with anyone who wants to have this optimized health approach and is kind of ready for it, right? So I meet people where they're at, but are you ready for it? Are you ready to feel pain-free? Are you ready to live your best life? So to find us, so there's a team of dietitians with my partner Jenna Stanglin, who works for the Minnesota Wild and Minnesota Timberwolves.
Nice.
So you can find us at a4.health. So it's not a .com or whatever. It's the letter A, the number 4.health. That's our website. And then you could also just find me. I'm at Christina Jax on Instagram or at A4 Health Coaches on Instagram as well.
I love it. Well, I'm so grateful you came out here. I'm also so grateful that I got to chat with you about our LeddWell products that Melissa and I have launched. This is a clean supplement brand that we always get questions from people like, hey, what should I take? What should I take? And for a while there, we were like, well, you could take this, you could take this. And then we do more research on those products, and it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Those actually aren't that good.
Right. There's a lot of garbage.
They're just marketed very well.
Right.
So we have teamed up with Nutridyne and come up with some protein, some fruits and greens, and hydrate. And I'm excited to say that it gets the Christina Jax stamp of approval.
Yeah, they're great. And honestly, I love supplements. They don't replace your diet, but they supplement eating good, real foods. But we do need it, especially if you're doing things like sitting in a sauna like we are. We definitely need some electrolytes. We need to hydrate. So yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you got to get to your next thing and prepare for your race this Saturday. So
Yep.
I hope we meet again.
Absolutely. I'd love to do this again. There's so many angles that we can talk about in the world of nutrition and how it helps people. We can pick a slice and dice that's interesting to your audience and really deep dive it the next time.
I very much look forward to that.
That means it won't be deep diving in the lake, though. That part won't happen. No.
All right, Christina. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Cheers.